Hey guys, I'm Ashley, and today I'm doing another Top 5 Wednesday video. Today's Top 5 Wednesday is Top 5 Fandoms You're No Longer a Part of, and as usual, I will leave a link to the Top 5 Wednesday Goodreads group and our moderator Sam from Thoughts on Tomes YouTube channel down below in case you're interested in checking those out. And it was kind of hard to come up with a list for this because most of the fandoms I'm not like a part of anymore are because there's nothing new coming out. So like Lord of the Rings, there's nothing new coming out, but I still consider myself a huge part of that fandom. Or Community, which is no longer on air, I'm a huge part of that fandom. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Korra, things like that. So they don't have new content, so I can't be a part of their fandom like actively, but I do consider them my favorite things, so I didn't include them in this because I still consider myself in those fandoms. However, most of what's on this list is not book related. In fact, I think I only have one book fandom, maybe two actually, on this list. So it's mostly like television and movies. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So at number 5, I have the Throne of Glass fandom. When I first read these books, so we're talking like the first two as well as the novella Bind Up the Assassin's Blade, I was really into these books. I thought they were super original. I loved Selena and I shipped her really hard with Kale. I like sped through those 3 books so quickly. And then I read Heir of Fire and I did not like it. It took me a long time to get through it. I was so over where the story was going and did not like it at all. And there was just crazy things happening with some of my favorite characters, and new characters were introduced that I was not into, and so I stopped reading them. And I'm still, you know, reading reviews on Goodreads, watching videos of people who are still reading the series, and from everything that I can gather, that was a good decision on my part because I don't like where it's gone. It's so different now from where the series first started off. You know, I'm thinking, why? Why would I even continue? And I'm not going to. Kale is having weird things happening with him, and he's my like favorite male character almost of all time in books, I think. And so why would I continue to put myself through that? So I no longer consider myself a part of that fandom where I used to. Like, I would find fan art of Kale and Selena. I was on Tumblr talking with people about those books, and now I just don't care. It's done. I'm over it. Number 4 is Supernatural. When I was first watching this series like 2 years ago, I loved it. I was binge watching it, and then I got through season 6 and it just felt very repetitive. Nothing felt new, nothing felt fresh, and I just stopped caring. And so while I was super invested in it and thought it was really original and was talking to everybody I possibly could about Supernatural, I just thought that it should have ended at season 5, honestly. The season 5 finale was amazing and could have ended right there and it would have been a perfect show. And it has gone just way too long at this point, and so I just have given up on it because it's too much to get invested in and it's just not good enough content for me, honestly, to feel continuously worthwhile. Coming in at number 3, I have the Harry Potter fandom. And this is probably going to be a bit of a controversial pick on my part, but it's not because I don't like Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter just like everybody else. I grew up reading it. It has a very special place in my heart, those 7 books, and nothing can ever replace those Harry Potter books. That being said, there is new content coming out that I just don't care enough about. You know, Fantastic Beasts and the play, and the Fantastic Beasts screenplay, and the new book, that 8th Cursed Child book, and I'm just not as interested in any of that as I was in the original series. I think that those are just like the pinnacle of it and are just going to be the center of that whole universe. And so even though this fandom is still technically current, you know, J.K. Rowling's whole Hogwarts and magical universe is still current, I just don't consider myself a part of it anymore because I like the stuff that was coming out years ago more than I like the stuff that's coming out now. So I do not consider myself a part of that fandom any longer. Number 2, I have Arrow. This is a TV show on the CW that is based on a DC comic, The Green Arrow. And I used to be so into this show. It was probably one of my top 3 favorite like current shows. I was watching like Doctor Who, Once Upon a Time, and Arrow. Every single week the new episode would come out of those 3 shows and I would watch it as soon as it was out. I was shipping Olicity really hard. I was not a fan of Laurel. You know, I was invested in all of those ships and those teams and those conversations. It was on my blog on Tumblr, and I just don't care. I don't know what happened. I just like stopped caring. I stopped watching week after week. I think that I just got more interested in other television shows over it, and now I go back to rewatch it and I just am not as obsessed with it as I used to be. So while I used to like fangirl hardcore over Arrow, I just don't anymore. And for number 1, I have The Vampire Diaries, which has one of my all-time favorite ships, which is Damon and Elena. They are one of my favorite couples of anything of all time. They probably make my top 5 favorite relationships ever. But I stopped watching after Nina Dobrev left. I just didn't want to watch a show that didn't have Damon and Elena in it. I watched the series finale when it premiered like a month ago, maybe a little longer, just because I had spent so long loving that show. I really wanted to know how it ended and what ended up happening to everybody. So just as this sort of nostalgia thing, I did watch the series finale. But like I said, I didn't watch any of the last 2 seasons. If Elena wasn't there, I just thought it was kind of silly to keep the show going, so I don't consider myself a part of that fandom anymore, and I haven't for over 2 years now probably. Whenever the 6th season ended, that's when I stopped caring, honestly, so I don't consider myself a part of that fandom anymore, where I used to. I used to be so invested in it, obviously. It had my favorite couple, like, on television. That's, like, my number 1 fandom that I've sort of dropped out of. And that's it. That's my Top 5 Wednesday video for today. If you guys are no longer a part of a fandom that you used to be a part of, let me know. I'd be interested to know what some of your guys' fandoms that you've kind of lost interest are. And feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and like this video if you did like it. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and happy reading.